Reese here, doing another martial arts chat. Today, it's going to be a topic that I don't know if everybody thinks this way. I don't know if it's just me, which is possible. It's just me. But at the same time, what I want to talk about is one, it will go into egos and how being egotistical in martial arts seems to be kind of a very prevalent, just very high growing thing. It's just very prevalent within, and I don't care what you do. I don't care if it's just self-defense. I don't care if it's a traditional martial art or if it's MMA or whatever. There's a lot of ego that's in the martial arts community now. And I think there was always a bit of ego when it came to martial arts anyway. I've always thought that anyway. So what this is actually about is, don't allow your jealousy to propel your ego wrongfully. And now, the reason why I'm saying jealousy is because a lot of times I don't think we see it. But when we are trying to work hard at a business, or we're trying to teach, or we're trying to show and demonstrate things that we know is effective, or we know works, or maybe even it's the fact that we don't know, and even though we would like to think that we know better, we have to come to the grips of the fact that maybe we just didn't know that stuff and know what we just saw, know the technique we saw, know anything about it, know the premise, know the understanding where it comes from, what we're actually looking at. So automatically that jealousy propels that ego to automatically say, that's BS, I'm throwing that card out there, and I think everything that what you're doing is garbage. And that ends up giving us your sites like Bullshido. You got Bullshido, you got I think it's even on Facebook. I think it's just BS, really, isn't it? BS martial arts, and I'm not going to say these words, so just bear with me. But the reason why they have all these out there is because you got a lot of guys who are very either egotistical, or they don't know what in the world they're talking about, and they just want to sound like they do, and they might read a few manuals believing that might help propel them in the knowledge and to be able to totally dissect something down to the bare bones, and maybe they think they have it understood. That's a travesty, because there might be something out there. But what happens is people see that, and people don't realize how influenced our decision making is based off of perhaps the opinions of people that we respect, or perhaps the fact that we look at it and we may not understand it, so we just jump on that bandwagon and say, oh yes, they're absolutely right, that is garbage and fake. Now, is there stuff out there that's just bad and just fake? Yeah, there is. There is, without a shadow of a doubt, it's bad stuff, and it's fake, and it really will it holds no water whatsoever in an actual fight, in any way, shape, or form. I mean, let's look at that in general, okay? So the reason why I believe this stirs up stuff, though, but that means we're gonna we might attack that actual fake stuff. We might actually attack that stuff that's really bad. It's fake. It's not good. It's really poorly done, and we might attack that. And I'm guilty of this too, guys. I'm not going to say that I'm not guilty of it. I'm not going to say that I was better and I was like, well, Yeah, I'm way better. I'm way more enlightened than you guys. I don't do that stuff. That'd be a lie and me being egotistical. Because, no, I'm guilty of it too. We attack things that we look at and we're like, whoa, that just doesn't look good at all. And like I said, sometimes it's just, there's a fact that's just bad. It's not good stuff, it's bad stuff, and it's not going to help out. Now, the fact is that the case with all the stuff that perhaps martial arts attack? Self-defense guys, I mean, whatever you consider yourself, we're basically all in the same premise of martial artists. No one, honestly, only we as martial artists divide it into self-defense, martial arts, mixed martial arts, this, that, the other. We're the only ones who categorize this stuff. Everyone else in the world says karate or martial arts. That's it. They don't care about the rest. They don't understand the differences. They don't care about the differences. They just see someone kicking and punching and kneeing and elbowing, and that's all they see. That's all they know. So I'm just going to say martial artist as a general term because that's really the generalist term, okay? So as martial artists, we have a tendency to attack whatever it is. So because there is fake stuff out there, bad stuff out there, we have a tendency to just jump on the bandwagon for everything that looks really bad. Everything that looks semi-bad or we just don't understand what in the world that's about. I mean, and we kind of have this bandwagon mentality. We're influenced by the people that we respect. If this person doesn't like it, or maybe they disrespect the person that you respect, the person that maybe it's your mentor, or maybe he's just a close friend of yours, and they disrespect him. But you are pretty sure you know him. You know the things that he's capable of, and you've felt it. You've dealt with it. You know what everything is possible. But you got people dissing it, and so it just blows your mind. It sets you back, and you just think, that's stupid. That is ridiculous. And you start jumping on that bandwagon, I mean, of hating on something. I want you guys to understand something, though, because if it's about someone that we know, we don't jump on the bandwagon to hate on them because we know. So we automatically will defend them, and then they start attacking you as the person defending because they automatically think that you're one of his sycophants and you're just going to be the person that they're going to deal with, and you're that, you're that kind of a person. That's what that's what a lot of these haters do. A lot of these hate trolls, or whatever you want to call them. I don't care what they are. They're critics, and they're really bad critics because a lot of them don't have the room to be a critic. But they criticize this, and you might fall in the category of being criticized if you defend someone. Or maybe you're the one being criticized. I don't know. But sometimes we fall in the category of being the critic. Not because we looked at it at first and went, oh my, you cannot tell me this is... No, we kind of go in it and we see it. Maybe we don't right away go, oh man, what's this guy doing? No. We might look at it first and go, okay, maybe he just doesn't know it. Maybe he just doesn't know exactly what he's talking about. Maybe he just needs a little help. Maybe he just needs a little guidance. I mean, you're more hopeful with the fact that maybe that's not the case, I mean, but then you start reading comments, you start getting into the comments that people are making, and then suddenly you're on that bandwagon. You're right, this guy's horrible, la 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 la. Movie critics, and people say, I don't pay attention to movie critics, and this, that, and the other. Some people don't. A lot of people do. They're influenced by what these guys who see lots of movies, who understand movies and know movies, they're influenced by that. And if you have a mentor, maybe a friend that you know, and he's criticizing it, criticizing a video or some guy's technique, maybe you start getting on that band. Well, if he doesn't think that it's good, then I'm not going to think it's good. I'm definitely not going to go against that. You start getting into that whole thing. And sometimes, I'm going to say jealousy at times. Because sometimes we get jealous about these McDojos And we get really jealous about big schools. We get really jealous about programs that they hold, the things that they do. We get really, really jealous about this. And it's because they're highly successful. These guys are very successful. They're able to pull in people. They're teaching children. They're helping people. Now, we start saying, oh, it's a paper mill. It's this, that, and the other. Not everything that's highly successful, not everything that is got a big group of people, not everything that's out there that's like that is a paper mill. Are there things out there that, yes, you could quantifiably look at and say, yes, they're just handing out things? It's true, because there are some schools out there that if you pay $500 or you pay so much, or maybe $5,000, I don't know, you pay so much, they basically give you they just give you your black belt and instructor certificate and say, there you go. Now, sometimes that's just based on rumors too. Sometimes we hear about this place that if they pay $5,000, they get their black belt and they get to move on out. And that's just a rumor. In reality, people say that because this person pays for 3 or 4 years of training. And at the end of that 4 years of training, they are promised that they're going to, through that 4 years of training, they're going to make black belt. And where that doesn't coincide for some of us is we say, why do you give yourself just this limit of a time? I mean, and I think that's what and then we start getting on the bandwagon of, that guy's a 10th Dan, that guy's this Dan. And unfortunately, I think some people bandwagon off of that too, the ones who are giving themselves the 10th Dan, or the ones who have got these 10th Dans. A lot of times these guys they have them, but it's because they kind of got on the bandwagon. Well, it's my style. Why is anybody? But you never proved it to anybody. You never went before anybody. You never went before an association. You never went before a group of your peers. You never did anything like that to show anybody anything, and you didn't accept it. Okay? I got a foundership in my style of martial arts, but I do not have a 10th Dan. I have a foundership, yes. Some people would say, well, that would make you a 10th Dan. No, it doesn't make me a 10th Dan. Because, in my opinion, I have been graded only to 5th Dan. And I think in only like, I got a 4th Dan in a style, I got a 5th Dan in a style, and I mean, and then I've got instructor certificates, and that's it. I don't have, I really don't care about all that. I never cared about that. All I cared about is increasing my skill level, increasing my ability, making sure that I'm teaching good things to people, because I didn't want people just to learn bad stuff. The only reason why I got the foundership was because, in all honesty, even though I have these other, these other degrees, is because it doesn't matter. I'm not through that association, and I'm not that association, and I'm not those styles exactly. I took those, I made this whole, I compiled together, I have my own syllabus of things that I do, and it doesn't look different from others. Maybe some, maybe not to others, maybe to, a few, maybe it looks exactly the same. I don't know if it looks the same. But I know I do things differently because it was the way I did things. It's the way I do things. It's how I've been shown things. And I still take, and I'm not going to say that it's all like unique. I'm unique. My fight experience is what makes me unique, because what I've done in my fights and the things that I've done in my experience in corrections and security, there's the only thing that I do things differently for me, because it's what works for me. So I built, I have a syllabus around things that I do. And that's the only thing that's different. That's the only thing that's different, is because of the experiences that I have. But then I also listen to people who have experiences of their own, and the way they teach might be better than the way I teach. It's not that I'm teaching something different, it's just I have a harder time articulating what they're saying. And I go, oh, cool, I'll just kind of, I'll take how they say it, because it sounds better than the way I do. And it sounds more simple than how I say it, and that's easier to teach. It's not easier for me to learn. I already know it. But it's easier for me to pass on. So there's certain things that I learned from doing that. So it has nothing to do whether bad, good, whatever. It doesn't matter. I like listening to people because how they've constructed it is possibly better than me. Because me, I'm more complicated. My brain starts going on and on and on, and it complicates everything. So I don't look at it like, oh, well, they don't know what they're talking about because it really takes this. They probably know that. They just simplified it. If anyone asks my wife, she actually paraphrases things that I'm trying to get to. I have a certain pathway of doing things, and I have this thing all lined up, and it's hard for me to paraphrase that. So it's like that's just how my brain goes sometimes. That's how it is. It's not that I'm teaching anything different, and in some cases I was teaching the same thing that this person is teaching. You know, so I still give credit to how I relay the information. I still give credit to that. To those people because they just still deserve it because it's still the way they voice it. It's still the way they interpret it. So, and if mine's too complicated, then that's how it works. Now, what I mean by that, now this is where I'm getting the point on that. Now that was kind of a tirade, but at the same time, what I was trying to talk about was that's the same mentality they have. Well, I have a 10th dan because no one can tell me what I've done, what I do. Who's going to teach me what I do? Who's going to teach me what I do? So they accept that 10th dan because sometimes people are giving those over. I don't care about any of that. That really, honestly, I don't care about belts. I don't care about that. Give me knowledge. Okay? There's no SEAL out there that has this. I got a SEAL black belt and fifth degree. I got a 10th dan in SEAL combat. If someone has that, that's BS. If someone has, let's look at it this way. It's probably some of the most dangerous people you'll ever know or never know. That's what I really should say. Never know or ever know. A lot of these guys, some of the most dangerous people, they don't have black belts. And if they do, it's because of previous training before they got into their service. So there's some people out there that are highly dangerous just because they just know how to fight. They just know how to do things, or they were trained things, but not in a way of here you're going to earn a black belt through this. No, we're just going to train you this stuff. It's called combat, and you're going to learn this. Had no degree of anything. You might become an instructor later because you're good enough at it that you become an instructor, or because you've retired from the actual field. Those are the people that are really dangerous. These guys are putting it, and because they test it out, because it's always getting done. So I don't put a lot of stock into belts as it is, but we all jump on that bandwagon, maybe because we're jealous because we don't have one. We want a 10th dan. Now this isn't for everybody, obviously, but at the same time, there are a lot of people out there that say, I don't want no 10th dan, but in the back of their head, they're like, yeah, I do. I deserve a 10th dan. I've been doing this a long time. So they jump on that bandwagon of everybody's 10th dan, they're full of crap and diddly, and they just kind of get on that bandwagon. It's because they're jealous. Us that have smaller business, I don't have a small business anymore, but I had this mentality because I had a small business. I'm not gonna lie. If you have a big business, man, you guys are just giving up everything. You don't do anything the way it should be done. If you did, you wouldn't have as many people as you do. Instead of just being happy for these people that they're really successful in their business and they're presenting martial arts to people, and maybe just helping people get confidence, maybe just helping people in general in certain ways. And some people kind of and I know a lot of people attack and because they're not giving them the self-defense. Maybe those people ain't looking for self-defense. I don't yeah, it used to be that the vast majority of people went for self-defense. That's still possibly true today. But with the growth and the height of mixed martial arts and stuff like that, I don't know if that's the case anymore. I think people go in because of action movies, and I think people go in more because of the things they see on TV and movies, and because of the UFC fights. I think people do that more now than they did back when it was just, you were learning how to fight. because you didn't want to be caught. You didn't want to be taught badly. You know, you didn't want to. You didn't want to walk on the street and get nailed. You didn't want to get knocked out. You didn't want to get hurt. And now, I think that's why there's people that specialize in self-defense. But let's face facts, guys. Let's be real honest about it. You could do seminars alone for just self-defense, and just travel around and go from school to school to school to help them build their self-defense program, and you be the self-defense person out there, and you really don't need to go into a ton of detail. You can give scenario plans. You can do all that stuff. You can write all that up, put it on a flash drive or whatever, and give it to people. That stuff. I mean, you could do that if you wanted to, just basically make sure they implement these things in their training. And you'll probably end up with another school that has a decent self-defense program because you helped them propel it. But we get jealous of those that are out there successfully going through doing seminars. We suddenly start jumping on their case. Well, that's the same old. I'm guilty of this. That's the same old stuff. That stuff right there. That's the same old crap. That's the stuff that's going to get people killed anyway. But what we don't know is what he's actually teaching. We don't know if he's setting up the mentality, because like I've said before, it doesn't really matter the technique. If you're good at what you do, and if you've been taught it and you've been learning it for long enough, you will move into it. And yes, these are perishable skill sets, but at the same time, if you're going regularly, even if it's 2 to 3 times a week, you're still practicing, so you're still getting that time in. So eventually, and even if you're sparring back and forth, even if it's just point sparring, you're still getting that motion. And yeah, we want to fault it, we want to give it its fault, but there's some good things about it. So that's the thing. I think we get jealous about certain things, so we attack it from these other avenues of what we think it should be. Like I said, I'm guilty of it, and it's because of our ego. Our ego is hurt. We're not as successful. We're not as high ranked. We're not in this place. We don't look like these people. I have never done that, so that is BS. We just have these problems with accepting the fact that maybe there's just people that are just that good. Or maybe we just got to be happy for the fact that these people are successful. You don't have to. And people say, yes, but they're my competition. Still be happy for them, because I can guarantee not everybody's going to go to them. You are probably going to be someone else's cup of tea compared to that person. It's just how it goes. And this is the case in life, man. I think everybody does. This is a life lesson, not just a martial arts lesson. Quit allowing your jealousy of someone's success, someone's property, someone's stuff, someone's rank, whatever it is. Quit being jealous of their stuff. Don't attack them and start finding fault because they have success. Don't find fault with everything that someone does because you just can't do that, or because you don't believe it works. Just because you don't believe it works, or just because you've never seen that ever work before ever, doesn't mean it won't. It doesn't mean it's not a possibility or capability. Now, I'm not saying that there's not bad stuff out there. No. But we fuel sites like Bullshido, the BS martial arts. We fuel trolls. We give these guys fuel. We give them the matches. We even at times light the matches for them to just throw it onto the fuel that you've already poured all over the place. We have the problem of, even if we're good martial artists, you are the ones responsible for the fact that these guys are probably just trolls. Not only are they probably just trolls, they probably are not knowledgeable. But you throw your knowledge in because you know what you're talking about. You throw your knowledge in, they take that knowledge, and then they expand upon it. You've allowed jealousy to attack things that are unnecessarily needing to be attacked. People that are unnecessarily needing to be attacked. Sometimes you just got to just lift up your shoulders and know that you're the cover-up tattoo shop. There's a lot of bad tattoo shops. You can't stop them from doing the work because they're probably going to sell it cheaper or whatever the case might be. You can't stop it from happening. Okay? You guys can sit there and dog people out all day long. It's not gonna stop it. But what you can be there for is be the really good example of a martial artist. Be the best example of a martial artist you can be, and be there to help them get rid of that bad tattoo. Basically, be there to help them take that training and make them actually good people. Will they ever come to you? If they don't, they're just happy with that bad tattoo, basically. Let them be happy with the bad tattoo. But if they come to you, help them cover it up. Basically, get rid of it, man. Give them the things that you know you do the best. So it's that easy, guys. And I mean, it sounds more complicated than it is, but it really is easy by just saying, I let it go, put my ego in check, say forget it, and just say I hope and pray that these guys find someone that's going to help them get rid of that bad stigma that they have on them right now. And then be the ones prepared, you know. Maybe you should put that on your website. We are the cover-up site. If you have a bad martial art, we can help fix it. That's all. Maybe that's a good way to go. I don't know. Comment below, guys. Tell me what you think. I know I don't get many trolls on my stuff unless I'm talking about certain people. So either just leave a comment below, even ask me questions, whatever it is, and we'll continue to talk about martial arts, and just let's continue to stay honest.
Suck it to me.
Floating in the river with a saturated liver, and I wish I could forgive her, but I do believe she meant it when she told me to forget it, and I bet you will regret it when they find me.